Hello everyone. We are completed with the financial liabilities, but some of the aspects under financial liabilities are redeemable preference shares. Let's see why the redeemable preference shares are also the financial liability. So it's an instrument where the issuer have to repay the amount and holder has the right to ask for the repayment at fixed or determinable future value after the agreed period. So while issuing the preference shares itself, about the redemption, about the coupon rate, I mean the dividend rate, everything is mentioned. If the preference share is redeemable, then the preference share principal is treated as equity. Okay. In case of dividend, we have the some other aspects we can study there itself. Then comes the put-table instruments. Holder has the right to put the instruments back to the issuer for the cash or other financial asset, or it happens automatically in uncertain events like death or retirement of the holder. It is similar to taking the writing position of the option contract, so it should be treated as financial liability. In case if the instrument is retransferred or if the instrument is coming back from the holder to issuer, then also that should be treated as the financial liability. Exceptions to the financial liability. Here are some exceptions. Okay, I'm not going to explain each and everything in detail, but just think in this way. If any instrument is a liability or is a responsibility at the end of the liquidation, then it should be treated as the financial liability. If any instrument is not a responsibility or a risk for the company, instead the risk of the company at the time of the liquidation is transferred to holder of that particular financial instrument, then that is treated as equity. So this is the simple difference between financial liability and equity instruments. There are some considerations for that too. Equity conversion option in case of FCCB. Okay, so this is important. You know about carve out, correct? So the list of the international accounting standard and Indian accounting standard, if you see, same accounting standard numbers are there, but in some of the accounting standards, the treatment is bit different. If the treatment is different, then that is called carve out. So under Indian Accounting Standard 32, the FCCB, foreign currency convertible bond, it is nothing but the bond which is convertible to foreign currency first, and afterwards for the equal value the equity shares are issued. Okay, so that is what foreign currency convertible bond. So in this type of instruments, in Indian accounting standard we are treating it as equity, but in international accounting standard it is divided into two aspects. Conversion option is liability and the balance is equity. So the difference what is there in Indian accounting standard and international accounting standard, that difference is treated as carve out. Okay. If conversion or exercise price is fixed in functional currency, then it is treated as the equity under international accounting standard 2. Okay, fine. So this is about the financial liability. We'll go for the third aspect. We are done with financial asset, we are done with financial liability, and we are going for the equity instruments. Equity or owner's equity is equal to assets minus liabilities. So this is the basic formula. In first PU itself, you have studied total assets is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity, correct? So I just arrange this formula in this way: equity or owner's equity is equal to assets minus liabilities. Why? Let's see. Under accounting standard 32, Indian accounting standard, it is there the 11th point says an equity instrument is any contract that evidences a residual value in the assets of an entity after deducting the liabilities. See, residual interest, in the assets of an entity after deducting the liabilities. That is what I have done here. So the residual value is nothing but equity or owner's equity is equal to assets minus liabilities. And the proper definition under Indian Accounting Standard 32, the point 16 says an instrument is an equity instrument if and only if, remember, only if both the conditions, condition A is there, condition B is there, both the conditions are met. Okay, so let's see the conditions. The instrument includes no contractual obligation, and if it is delivered in cash or another financial asset to another entity, should be treated as equity instruments. If it is to exchange the financial assets or the financial liabilities with another entity under the condition that are potentially unfavorable to the issuer. Okay, if it is unfavorable to the issuer, then also it should be treated as equity. So the second condition is if the instrument will or may be settled in the issuer's own equity instruments, that is non-derivatives aspect is there and derivative aspect is there. Let's see what is there in non-derivative aspects. Non-derivatives, that includes no contractual obligation for the issuer to deliver a variable number of its own equity instruments, and a derivatives that will be settled only by the issuer exchanging a fixed amount of the cash or another financial asset for a fixed number of own equity instruments. So we are going to compare this one with the definitions of financial assets, financial liabilities too. Okay. So this is very simple, very important here is no contractual obligation. Both the conditions should be fulfilled, A and B, and there should not be any contractual obligation. In liabilities definition, we have seen there is a contractual obligation. In the financial asset also we have seen there is a contractual right. Correct? Fine. Here examples for the equity instruments includes non-puttable ordinary shares or equity shares issued by the companies. Some puttable instruments, if they meet the requisite criteria and are not classified as financial liabilities, if they fulfill the requisite criteria only, and some instruments that impose on the entity on the obligations to deliver another entity's a pro rata share. Pro rata share is nothing but a division or proportionately sharing anything. Okay, a pro rata share of net assets of the entity only on liquidation. So this is the obligation of getting the share in the net assets on pro rata basis. Okay, if they meet the requisite criteria and are not classified as the financial liabilities. Some types of the preference shares, only some types of the preference shares. Okay, because we are already classified as redeemable preference shares, and about the dividend we have to see. Sometimes if the preference shares are cumulative, then some aspects will come. If the preference shares are not cumulative, some aspects will come. And if the dividend is paid only when the company is issuing the shares to its ordinary shareholders, then also some of the considerations are there. We are going to consider that one too in coming slides. Warrants are written call options that allow the holder to subscribe for or purchase a fixed number of non-puttable ordinary shares in the issuing entity in exchange for a fixed amount of the cash or another financial asset. So this is related to warrants or the return call options. When to identify the preference shares as equity, this is very important and confusing too. So here also we are going for the comparison. Some of the points are there without examples I have given here. In the textbooks you have some examples. You can go for the Guide for Indian Accounting Standard by Dr. D.S. Rawat. Fine. So if the preference shares are redeemable one, remember all the redeemable preference shares are not the financial liabilities. Okay. If the preference shares are redeemable, when the redemption option is with the holder, then that is financial liability. If the preference shareholder has the right to ask the redemption at any time, then it should be treated as a financial liability. When redemption option is with the issuer, means if the redemption option can be chosen by the issuer, whether to redeem, when to redeem, how much to redeem, these all things. Okay, if that option is in the issuer's hand, then it should be treated as equity. Discretionary means it's related to the decision of the issuer. When dividend payment is only in case of paying the ordinary shareholders, then principal is treated as a liability. Okay, so if the preference share is redeemable and dividend is issued only when the dividend is paid to the equity shareholders or the ordinary shareholders, then the principal amount is treated as the liability because it's redeemable, and the dividend is treated as the equity. Why it is treated as equity? Because the amount to pay, what is there, when to pay, how much to pay, whether to pay or not, that is decided by the issuer himself. In case of non-redeemable preference shares, need to assess the substance of the contractual agreements and definitions. So we need to assess, or we need to understand the substance of the contractual arrangements and the definitions. So distribution of the preference shares as per the discretionary of the issuer. So if the preference shares distribution is in the hands of the issuer, and if issuer is able to take the decision on the distribution of the preference shares, then it should be treated as equity. So irrespective of the type of the shares, if it is a cumulative or the non-cumulative one, both is treated as equity in case of the distribution is in the hands of the issuer. So what is cumulative preference shares? The dividend can be transferred or postponed to next year. Okay, non-cumulative means that particular year's dividend should be paid in that particular year only. Then non-redeemable preference shares with mandatory fixed dividends. Okay, if the preference share is non-redeemable and the fixed dividend is there, as usual the preference share has the fixed dividend, but it is fixed for one particular period, then the principal is treated as the equity because it is non-redeemable, there is no contractual obligations. But the dividend what is there, that should be treated as the financial liability. It is exactly the vice versa of the redeemable preference shares last point. Okay, fine. Then non-redeemable preference shares, dividend payable only when it is issued to ordinary shareholders. The entire amount is treated as the equity and it's non-redeemable too, and the dividend decision also can be taken by the issuer. So that's why the whole amount is treated as the equity. Then comes the derivatives. This one I have explained in the capital market operations subject. Once again I am going in brief. So derivatives, a financial instrument has the following characteristics. So here remember we are considering only financial derivatives, not a commodity derivatives. Derivative contracts can be on the commodities too, but here we are not considering that one. But in the meaning it has. So here are the characteristics. Value changes in response to the underlying one particular asset's basis, or one particular asset's prices are fixed or mentioned on the basis of the changes in the prices of that particular asset or the group of asset. The value of that particular contract is going to change always. Okay. No or smaller initial net investment. The investment is very less. You did not to pay 100% as like the shares or as like the capital market investments. Settled at a future date. The future date should be mentioned. That is why it is called derivative contracts. There are four types of the derivative contract: forward contracts, future contracts, option contracts, and swaps. I have explained it already. Once again, in brief, the forward contracts are between two persons, no intermediary is there. Future contracts are as like the forward contracts, the regulatory authority will be the intermediary here. Option contract is regulated one, the intermediary is definitely there, and in this, one particular party has the right to execute the contract, and that party is called holder, and another party has the obligation to buy or sell. Okay, so there are two types of the option contracts to call options. Buyer has the right, seller has the obligation. Put options, seller has the right, buyer has the obligation. The amount to be paid in any circumstances by the holder to the writer is called premium. Okay, then comes the swaps, swapping the cash flows. This one also I have explained in the capital market operations. We can go for that in detail. So this is about the introduction part of the particular aspects. So here are the financial instruments aspect. Three accounting standards will deal with this. The accounting standard 32, Indian accounting standard 107 and Indian accounting standard 109. If you deduct 100 from these 107 and 109, that will give you the accounting standard of IFRS. Okay, so that is International Financial Reporting Standards. What are that number? Here is a comparison of the definitions. In the financial asset, cash is the financial liability, cash will not come, and equity instruments, cash will not come. An equity instrument of another entity, this is nothing but the investment in another entity. Financial liability, there is no aspects, and in equity instruments, there is no aspects. Now comes the contractual right. Okay, here it is the right, that is why it is a financial asset. In financial liability, it is obligation, that is why it is a liability. And in equity, there is no contractual obligation. Okay, there is no contractual obligation. That is why it is treated as an equity one. Okay, so in case of the uncertainty, in case of the liquidation of any company, the company need not to pay the amount to its the equity holders, correct? So that is why it is treated as equity. So here is no contract obligations. The equity shareholders themselves are responsible to fulfill the losses of the company if any. Okay, if the profit is remaining, if the amount is remaining, obviously they will get the benefit in pro rata basis. Okay, fine. So financial asset, a contractual right, and the contract that will or may be settled in entities own equity instruments. Okay, so it is nothing but receiving that one. In financial liability, it is nothing but paying that one. Okay, so now we'll compare the same with financial liability and financial equity instruments. Here the same sentences are here. A contract that will or may be settled in entities' own equity instruments. The instrument will or may be settled in issuers' own equity instruments. The both are paying, but very importantly, in financial liability, the contractual obligation should be there to pay in own equity instruments, and in equity instruments there should not be any contractual obligation to pay in own equity instruments. So this is what the comparison. We'll go for another comparison statement. This is more simple for you, I think. Here is instruments, cash obligation for the principal is there, cash obligation, coupon or dividend is there, settlement for or in fixed number of shares, and the classification is there. Okay. If the instrument is ordinary shares, if there is no obligation to pay for the principal, and if there is no obligation to pay for the dividend, and the settlement is not applicable here, then it is treated as equity. In case of redeemable preference shares with fixed dividend each year and cash obligation for the principals if it is there, and cash obligation for the dividend if it is there, then it is treated as liability. In case the redeemable preference shares with the principal and discretionary equity for dividend, that means if the dividend is issued to the ordinary shareholders, then only the dividend is also issued for the preference shareholders. Okay, so cash obligation for the principal if it is there, and cash obligation for the coupon or the dividend is not there, and even settlement in fixed number of the shares. If it is not there, then principal is treated as a liability, dividend is treated as equity. And convertible bond option to convert into the fixed number of shares. Okay, if the bond is convertible to the fixed number of shares, and if the cash obligation for the principal is there, and if the coupon rate obligation is also there, and if it is settled in fixed number of shares, then the bond is treated as the liability. Then the conversion option, what is that? That is treated as equity. Okay, so that is the total number of the conversion amount. The convertible bond which converts into variable number of shares to the value of the liability. So that is the total value of the liability. Okay. So in fixed number of shares are not there. Okay. Cash obligation for the principal is there. Cash obligations for the coupon rate is also there. But it is not settled in a fixed number of equity shares. It is settled in variable number. The number of the equity shares are not fixed, but the total amount is fixed. Why number of the equity share is not fixed? Because the market price may change every day. Okay, so that is why if the total liability value is fixed, but the number of shares are not fixed, then also it should be treated as the financial liability. So here we are completed with the introduction part of the financial instrument aspect. From coming classes, we are going to study about the treatment of the financial instrument.